Jim Guerrero with SCN Team Talk, and today is SCN's own Susan Perris. Susan, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good, Jim. How are you?
Awesome, thank you. Thanks for joining me. SCN's Team Talk is here to learn your story. We'd love to hear about your whole life and career story, taking it from the beginning and fast tracking it to the present day, and wanted to see if you could give me just a quick overview of your life.
Sure, my life. Okay, well, I grew up not too far from here. Big Irish-Italian family, lots of kids, lots of food, lots of drink, lots of craziness, lots of chaos. But it was good. The prevailing theme in my family growing up was faith, so that was our foundation. Education was also really important in my family, so from high school, I went on to college and I studied advertising when I went to Michigan State, go green. And I really enjoyed it. That was what I had my career in when I first got out of college. I worked for a couple different advertising agencies, a couple of big ones, J. Walter Thompson, Campbell Ewald. And I always worked on the automotive accounts. I worked on the Ford account and the GM account. And, being here in Metro Detroit, automotive is our world. My dad worked in automotive, my father-in-law worked for Ford, a couple of my brothers work in automotive. So that's really been my career theme, has been working in various aspects of automotive. And I did some really exciting stuff. I was an account manager, and I worked on, for example, the Ford Focus launch. So we were targeting younger demographics, and we did partnerships with companies like colleges and MTV. I actually went out to the MTV Movie Awards, and we did a sponsorship partnership with them. Gave away a vehicle through a cable promotion that we did. So that was really exciting. And so I did some really exciting things, and it was really fun. I liked building and promoting companies from a macro perspective. What was their brand? What was their image? What were they trying to tell customers? But somewhere along the line, I remember thinking that I wanted to reach people directly. I wanted to be able to interact directly instead of from such a mass perspective. And I was talking to a friend of mine in the HR team at Campbell Ewald and disclosing this kind of feedback of, I liked what I did, but I felt there was something missing. And I remember my friend Heather said, well, why don't you come join us in HR? And I thought, no, I'm a salesperson. I'm an account manager. This is what my whole career had been. And I liked it. But the more that I talked to Heather about what she did on a daily basis, connecting with individuals and understanding their motivations, what they were looking for, what was working for them, what wasn't working for them, the more I became intrigued and interested, and I ultimately did join the HR team at Campbell Ewald. And I liked it, but I had gone from one part of the spectrum, from being very mass messaging to very micro, working individually, and somewhere I still felt disconnected because I liked both sides of it. So I continued to work in HR for a little while longer, and then the 2009 recession hit, and I got laid off. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to do because I liked both sides of it. I wasn't really sure if I was going to go back to advertising or continue on the recruiting side of things. And so I sent out my resume to a bunch of people, and I met you. And when I came here to SCN, that's really the beginning of my long-term career. I've been here for the last 11 years, and it's been a really great combination of being able to work with companies, present their story to candidates, help them build their brand in the marketplace, as well as work with individuals to understand their motivations of what they're looking for, what does their next job, ideal job look like. So that's a summary, a quick summary of where I am from, my education, and my career. That's my overview.
That's pretty good. So going back to the beginning, you're from here, local, which is cool, and you came from a big family. Mm-hmm. Where were you in the pecking order?
So yeah, we had a big family. I am the youngest. My dad always made it really clear that we did not have any babies in our family because people would always say, "Oh, you're the baby," and no, I am the youngest member. We have older members and younger members, so yeah, I'm the youngest.
What was that like being the youngest member?
Well, youngest of my siblings and I are all very close in age, so I mean, there's 5 of us within 8 years.
Wow.
So it was crazy. It was chaotic and fun, and one of the things, my husband and I actually just went away for the weekend, and we went over to Saugatuck. We went on a dune hike, and there was a couple families near us, and there were these little kids climbing up the dunes, and there was a younger little girl, and she was trying to keep up with the older kids. And I said to my husband, "That little girl, that's me," because she was mad, and she told them, "I can do it too." And they really didn't care. They were like, "All right, fine, just come on." And she was determined, and she did make it. But it was just really funny to watch her fight up that hill. And the other ones were just running up because they were older, they were bigger.
Yeah.
And she really wanted to keep up with them, and she did eventually. But I had to laugh. I was watching her, and she was really, really funny, really cute.
That's a good story. So it was just keeping up and trying to keep up and doing your best. That's fun. That is good. And then from your childhood, where did you go to high school?
I just went to a local high school here in Detroit, and it was a good foundation. I liked going to Michigan State. I actually did my undergrad and graduate at Michigan State.
Well, and so your undergraduate degree is in what?
Both my degrees are communications. My undergrad is communications with an advertising major, and then my master's degree is communications, and I focused more on direct marketing. As I got deeper into my career, as I mentioned before, I think that's where I started to really try to get, I was looking for more of the why, the motivation, and it was hard to do that from a larger perspective as far as mass branding, and I was working on direct marketing at that point. So it was the one-on-one communication, and it's interesting that I didn't know that my path would lead me to this company where I do both. But even when I was in my mid-20s and I was doing my master's degree, really focused on direct marketing, I was really looking for that one-on-one motivation and understanding, and why people, looking at their behaviors. And I actually had looked at going into psychology when I was in high school. I did a job shadow with a psychologist. But the reason I didn't do that is it felt very negative, and I like to build. I like to build bigger and move people forward, and that's what I really like about recruiting and working with clients, to help them build their teams and help candidates build and go on to the next step.
It's almost a perfect full circle.
It is.
Because so much of our position in our work is psychology based, trying to truly understand what's going in the head and the mind of our candidates and our clients. And
I feel very grateful. It's funny because I never laid out my path. I didn't know when I was in college or working on my master's degree that ultimately I should work for a search firm. Because that was one of the things when I did work with the HR firm, I was in the HR department, one of the limiting aspects for me was I was used to working on bigger accounts, GM and Ford, and my first job out of college I had worked on Hiram Walker, which is liquor, so I worked with a lot of different companies. I also worked on a bank account and FTD Florist for a little while. I liked working with a lot of different things, and when you work in an HR department, you're supporting that company, obviously the positions that they need to fill, and so it's just interesting that I didn't realize at the time everything would be leading me here, and I feel very grateful. This is like a perfect fit.
It's a perfect fit. Psychology, account management, sales, and also the human resource extension, and understanding the full scope of how a company operates and how they hire. Yeah.
I am grateful for that time that I spent in HR because I don't think most people realize what goes into a company hiring somebody. I was surprised to learn that there was one person in our department, his entire job was compensation analyst. I had no idea that that was a job. You know, there's somebody at a lot of the larger companies that goes through each department and makes sure that the compensation rates are, you know, equal, or why is this person who's being brought in, what is their education, what are their number of years of experience, okay, if we're going to pay this person more, why. I didn't know that that existed. I don't think most people do. So I am glad that I had that opportunity to work in HR, but for me it was missing the sales aspect that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I hear you. And, you know, many people say that, you know, certain positions are more limiting than others. And you have been able to show that there are no limits here at SCN. There are no limits because there are infinite possibilities for us to pursue. It's just a matter of focusing in and pursuing on the ones that make the most sense. So that's pretty cool. So when you started 11 plus years ago, back in that 2008-2009 timeframe, we were just starting to see signs of digging out of the financial crisis. It was a difficult time economically, and it was hard, and it was it was still a newer position for you because you never had done third-party search before. But you have shown that persistence and diligence and staying with it really pays off, because in your first year your sales were here, your second year your sales were here, third year your sales, and every year you got a little better. It was almost the exact model of what we need to do or how you do it to be successful. So
well, I think that a lot of that has to do with having an open mind, because when I first came here, remember the automotive market was not hiring, 2009, 2010. So I spent a year or so working in medical devices.
That's right, yeah.
Which, again, I'm from here. My career has been focused in automotive, so I didn't know much about medical devices, but that's okay. I learned a lot, and I did enjoy that. Actually, I did think that was interesting. But I was glad when the automotive market started turning around. That's really my background, my interest. So many people I know work in the automotive industry, work for various suppliers. So it's been really the best fit.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your desk. Where do you focus? What are the areas of expertise? Where do you help clients?
So my desk is automotive electronics, and I focus working with electrical engineers, software engineers. We work with electrical components, so everything from sensors, switches, connectors, semiconductors, wiring harnesses, lighting, electronics, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, batteries. Electronics is huge. So working with a lot of the automotive tier 1 suppliers, mostly tier 1. We do work with a few tier 2 suppliers. Some of our supplier clients, great clients, we worked with Alps and Coastal Contact, Yazaki, Barak Lighting, all these different companies that we work with. And my goal is to really partner with each of our clients. So right now, working on a search with Littelfuse. It's a company we've worked with for a long time, and when the manager reached out to me and said, hey, I've got an opening, it was about a 20-30 minute discussion of, tell me about this opening, tell me what you're seeing, because he had gotten a few resumes, what's working, what's not working, tell me about your team, what are you trying to do ultimately, what are the sales goals, why is this position open, why has it been open, just really trying to understand what is he looking for, how will this person help grow the team, and it often boils down to 4 or 5 key things. If the person has these 4 or 5, this degree, this experience, and it usually has to do with, it depends on the position. This is an FAE role that we're working on, so FAE, Field Applications Engineer. Ideally some kind of fast-paced, either having been an FAE or possibly a program manager background in automotive, and understanding what the demands are. There's some travel. This one, it's not required, but Spanish speaking skills are a plus. So that's my goal, is to really partner with our clients to understand how we can help them find the right person for their team.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do you approach a search with a client? What are some of the things that you do in particular that separate you from the pack, so to speak?
Well, our approach is we have a process that we follow. It's very organized, and what I like to do is really take the time up front to meet with the client and understand what they're truly looking for. And it often boils down to 4 or 5 key things. If we can find, when we find people who have these 4 or 5 things, that's usually going to be the right fit. And what I tell clients, the reason that we're different, we're not going to send you 10, 15 resumes and hope that one of these is a match. We're going to listen up front, we're going to understand what their team needs, and then those are the candidates that I'm going to send. And I only, often we send maybe 3 or 4, but our searches are very good that those 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, usually they, at least half of them get interviews. And then it boils down to soft skills and, personalities, clicking. But I would say, why are we different? A few reasons. We understand the market very well. We have a really good process here. We have very dedicated, hardworking people. And, we want to save our clients time. We want to win. And, I would just say we're partners with them. That's probably what's very different. I think most companies, most search firms are just there to make placements, where I tell clients, I'm not here to just make placements. I mean, I want this person to be here in 5 years. My ultimate goal is when somebody gets hired and then 3, 4, 5 years down the road, they call me back and say, I'm now in a position of hiring. And that's happened. I've been here a long time.
It's happened a lot for you.
It is, yeah. And that's, I love when I either hear from clients, I don't know how you guys are able to do this so fast. Like, how are you able to do this? Or my other favorite thing is when candidates send, I just got a thank you card recently, and the candidate was so thrilled that, it's a perfect position for him. So I think just really helping our clients grow and helping candidates find a great opportunity of a lifetime, that's very fulfilling to me.
So what do you think are some of the skills or the key traits that are required to be successful in our line of work?
Definitely being very curious. Somebody who is interested in learning. I read a lot. I read the newspaper, I read magazines, I read all kinds of books. I like biographies, which I think is interesting that I like biographies because I think it goes back to people's stories, what motivates them. So I think curiosity and having an open mind to learning new things. I think here, given our formula of working on different things, so I'm a search consultant and I work with clients, but I don't do all my own recruiting. We have people who focus in different areas. So I think teamwork is really, really critical here. Being able to work well with others because, I've got somebody who focuses in purchasing, somebody who focuses in manufacturing, somebody who the entire job is working with sales and program managers. My job, I do recruiting on electrical engineering positions. But I do think that that combination of being curious and always wanting to go for the next big thing, as well as being able to work with your teammates here and approaching things as a win for all.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with that. So what do you see for the future? Where is the market going? Where is your desk going? What do you see happening in the automotive vehicle electronic space?
I think the future is very bright. Even in among COVID, I've had people say to me, "Oh, you must be really slow. Nobody's hiring," and that is not true. There's a lot of companies that are hiring. Definitely, semiconductors are really hot. As companies, as the automotive manufacturers convert from gas vehicles to electric vehicles, semiconductors are in high demand. All the electronics products are in high demand. Autonomous is hot. Anything related to batteries is hot. So, yeah, I mean, the future is very bright. and I think it's only going to continue to get brighter once COVID ends. But even right now, it's still pretty strong. I mean, I've got several companies that are hiring, and they're just trying to make it through right now. But as soon as this virus is contained and done, it's going to really take off.
Sky's the limit. I think that also, based on having been involved in this profession for a long time, 19 years for me, you're very well connected in the industry. You're very well connected in the space. So I think the positions that are available out there, you're being made aware of them because of your longevity and your experience and your insight and your reputation for high quality. So, but to your point, because the vehicle electronics market is growing and expanding, even if some production and some programs are put on hold, they're still moving forward on a lot of the key initiatives, including electrification, for example. So it's an exciting time, and it's pretty cool for me to have you in that seat right in the middle of the automotive electronics space, because you're a tried and true veteran, and you have many great years ahead of you, and certainly you are, I believe, the lead recruiter and search consultant within the vehicle electronics space.
Thank you.
And I'm glad to have you on my side, for sure. I think that the future is bright, and you're going to be on a lot more of those trips in the days ahead. So thank you for that. And I think that's a good way to wrap it up here. And just to say that we've got an incredibly bright future together. The industry is ripe, and you're perfectly situated to continue to have success.
Thank you. I'm grateful to be here. I love what I do, and I think it shows.
It's a perfect match. This is Jim Guerrero with SCN Team Talk with Susan Perris. Thank you.